Why work no longer defines identity. For a long time, work was more than a way to earn money. It was a way to understand who we are. When people met for the first time, the most common question wasn't about values or dreams. It was simple. What do you do? That single question carried enormous weight. Your job wasn't just your occupation. It was your status, your role in society. To say, I'm a doctor, or I'm an engineer, was to define your identity. We were taught to become our job, and for a long time, that model worked. In an industrial world, work was stable. Careers were linear. You learned one skill, entered one profession, and stayed there for decades. Your profession told you where you belonged. It answered, who am I in this world? But that world no longer exists. Today, work changes faster than identity can adapt. Jobs disappear. Skills become outdated. Artificial intelligence accelerates this process, not because it removes work, but because it removes certainty. You can lose a job in a year, but identity cannot reset that fast. This is where the fracture begins. People don't just lose income, they lose orientation. When work defines who you are, losing work feels like losing yourself. This is why burnout has become so common. Why anxiety is no longer the exception, because the old contract is broken. Society still tells us that our value comes from productivity, but productivity is no longer stable. We are asked to reinvent ourselves again and again. This creates a silent crisis. If I am not my job, then who am I? If my skills become irrelevant, do I become irrelevant too? These are not economic questions. They are existential ones. And AI didn't create this problem. It exposed it. For the first time, humans are forced to separate what they do from who they are. This separation feels uncomfortable because we were never taught how to make it. We were taught to chase titles, positions, and roles, not values, not curiosity. A profession was never meant to be a personality. It was meant to be an expression. This is the shift we are living through. Work no longer defines identity. It only defines a temporary function. Identity must now come from something deeper, from values instead of titles, from curiosity instead of credentials. This does not mean work loses importance. It means work loses control. When identity is tied to curiosity, learning becomes natural. When identity is tied to values, change becomes survivable. AI is forcing humanity to grow up psychologically. It is pushing us away from borrowed identities and towards self-defined ones. Because the future will not belong to those who cling to a single role. It will belong to those who understand who they are beyond any role. Work can still be meaningful, but it can no longer carry the entire weight of identity. That responsibility now belongs to the individual. And this realization leads us to the next question. What happens to the 9-to-5 model itself? The 9-to-5 was an invention of the industrial age. It was designed for factory floors where presence equaled productivity. But in the age of AI, presence means nothing. Impact means everything. We are moving from the time economy to the results economy. Why do we all commute at the same time? Why do we sit in offices when the work is digital? The future is asynchronous. Work happens when you are most creative, not when the clock strikes 9. The morning rush hour will become a relic of history. And we are moving from employee to creator. An employee rents their time. A creator owns their output. AI allows one person to do the work of 10. This means the barrier to starting a business drops to 0. We will see 1 billion one-person companies. This is not just about freelancing. It is about sovereignty. When you own your tools, you own your destiny. In the next segment, we will explore universal basic income and the end of survival work. No intro needed, we continue straight into the economics. Universal basic income and the passion economy. For most of modern history, survival was tied to labor. If you worked, you earned the right to live. If you didn't, you struggled. This simple equation shaped economies, cultures, and personal identities. But artificial intelligence is slowly breaking that equation. As machines become capable of producing value at scale, a question once considered radical is becoming unavoidable. What happens to society when work is no longer the primary source of income? This is where the idea of universal basic income enters the conversation. Universal basic income, often misunderstood, is not about encouraging laziness. It is about acknowledging a structural shift. For the first time, productivity is no longer limited by human time and effort. In such a world, tying survival exclusively to employment becomes unstable. Universal basic income represents a safety layer, not a reward, but a foundation, a baseline that separates survival from employment. This separation is psychological as much as it is economic. This idea is not new. Martin Luther King Jr. championed the guaranteed income in the 1960s. He understood that true freedom requires economic security. You cannot be free if you are starving. You cannot be creative if you are terrified. Experiments with universal basic income across different countries revealed a surprising pattern. Most participants did not work less. They worked differently. They invested more time in education, in caregiving, in creative projects, in entrepreneurship. This reveals something important about human nature. Humans are not motivated by survival alone. They are motivated by meaning. And this is where the passion economy begins. The passion economy is not about hobbies. It is about alignment. It describes a system where individuals create value by expressing their unique perspective, skills, and interests, rather than fitting into predefined roles. AI accelerates this shift. When execution becomes automated, differentiation comes from intention, from taste, from authenticity. Writers no longer need publishing houses. Artists no longer need galleries. Platforms and AI remove barriers. The result is a decentralization of value creation. Instead of competing for positions, people compete for resonance. Instead of selling time, they sell insight. We are moving up Maslow's hierarchy. For centuries, humanity was stuck at the bottom, physiological and safety needs. UBI solves the bottom layers. AI solves the middle layers. This leaves the top, self-actualization. This is the only layer that is infinite. Kevin Kelly called it 1,000 true fans. You don't need millions of customers. You need a small tribe that resonates with your specific voice. In a global market of 8 billion people, there is a niche for everything. Even the weirdest passion has a market. Universal basic income, in this context, is not an endpoint. It is a transition mechanism. It allows individuals to explore without fear, to experiment without collapse, to fail without disappearing. This space between survival and expression is where innovation is born. Critics argue that such a system removes discipline, but discipline does not come from fear. It comes from purpose. When people are free from constant survival pressure, they don't become passive. They become intentional. They ask better questions. What do I care about? What problem do I want to solve? What perspective do I bring that no one else can? AI cannot answer these questions, but it can amplify the answers once humans find them. Work is no longer a command. It becomes a choice. Income is no longer a leash. It becomes a tool, and meaning moves to the center of human life. Universal basic income and the passion economy are early responses to a technological reality where intelligence is abundant, and the rarest resource becomes clarity of purpose. This shift does not remove effort from life. It removes meaningless effort, and in doing so, it challenges humanity to redefine what a meaningful life actually looks like. Join us in Segment C, where we meet your new colleague, the AI coworker. For most of history, tools were extensions of the human body. The hammer extended the arm, the wheel extended the leg, the engine extended muscle. But artificial intelligence is different. For the first time, a tool extends the mind. This is why AI feels unfamiliar. It is not just helping us work faster, it is working with us. And this raises a fundamental question. Is AI here to replace human workers or to work alongside them? The answer is not binary. It depends on how we choose to design our relationship with intelligent machines. There are two paths: automation and augmentation. Automation removes the human from the process. Augmentation enhances the human within it. When the printing press arrived, it automated the work of scribes. But it didn't eliminate writing. It created editors, publishers, and authors. It augmented literacy itself. Most fear comes from confusing the two. Automation asks, how can we remove human involvement to reduce cost? Augmentation asks a different question. How can we amplify human judgment, creativity, and decision-making? The difference between these two approaches defines the future of work. When the electronic calculator became common, it automated arithmetic. But it didn't replace accountants. It freed them from tedious calculation to focus on financial strategy and advisory. It augmented their value. In augmentation-driven systems, machines become collaborators. When AI is used as a coworker, work evolves. Humans shift from execution to interpretation, from repetition to judgment, from labor to meaning. Doctors use AI to analyze scans, but the final diagnosis remains human. Lawyers use AI to research cases, but ethics stay human. AI does not replace expertise, it extends it. In chess, the best player is not a grandmaster, and it's not a supercomputer. It is a centaur, a human working with an AI. The human provides strategy, intuition, and context. The AI provides tactical calculation and pattern recognition. Together, they are unbeatable. This is augmentation. This changes psychology. When people work with intelligent systems instead of being replaced, they feel empowered. Their role shifts upward. They are no longer valued for speed, but for insight. They become conductors of systems, not cogs in a machine. Humans remain the ethical center of decision-making. Consider drug discovery. AI can analyze millions of molecular combinations in a single day, a task that would take a team of scientists a lifetime. But it is the human scientist who guides the AI, asks the right questions, and interprets the results. The AI explores, but the human discovers. The same is true in architecture and music. AI can generate thousands of building layouts or melodic variations, but it is the human architect who understands the cultural context of a space. It is the human composer who knows what chord will break a heart. This partnership creates a new kind of work. The danger lies in ignoring this balance. If companies rush toward pure automation, they create efficient but dehumanizing systems. If they design for augmentation, they unlock human potential. Those who see AI as competition will resist it. Those who see it as a collaborator will evolve with it. This is why learning to work with AI is a core life skill. Not technical mastery, but relational intelligence. Understanding what machines do well, speed, pattern recognition, consistency, and what humans do uniquely, context, values, empathy, and meaning. When these strengths align, work becomes less exhausting and more expressive. It is the end of unnecessary struggle. The AI coworker does not eliminate work. It changes its center of gravity, from output to intention, from execution to direction, from survival to contribution. And this shift prepares us for an even deeper transformation. Because once AI becomes a coworker, the next question is inevitable. If machines can handle execution, what should humans be learning instead? Join us in segment D as we explore the future of education in a world where intelligence is shared. The new education, learning for a post-AI world. For centuries, education followed a single purpose: to prepare humans for work. We learned to memorize facts, to follow instructions, to specialize early, and to repeat tasks with precision. This model, often called the Prussian model, was designed for the industrial age. It treated students like products on an assembly line, batched them by age, bell rings, shift subjects, repeat. It was efficient for factories, but we are no longer building factories. Artificial intelligence changes that foundation. When machines can recall information instantly, execute procedures flawlessly, and learn faster than any human, education can no longer be about memorization. It must become something deeper. In a post-AI world, learning is no longer about storing knowledge. It is about developing the mind. This is the beginning of a new educational paradigm, one that values polymaths over specialists, curiosity over compliance, and soft skills over rigid expertise. For most of modern history, specialization was the safest path. You chose one field. You mastered one profession. You stayed within clear boundaries. Specialization offered security, but security is disappearing. AI thrives in narrow domains. The future does not belong to narrow expertise. It belongs to adaptive intelligence. This is why polymaths are returning. A polymath connects different fields. Someone who understands systems rather than silos. In a world shaped by AI, value comes from synthesis, from combining technology with psychology, logic with creativity, data with intuition. Education must reflect this shift. Instead of asking, "What should you become?" we must ask, "How should you think?" This leads to the most important skill of the future: curiosity. Curiosity is not a childish trait. It is a survival mechanism. Curious minds adapt faster. They explore uncertainty instead of fearing it. Traditional education often suppresses curiosity, but AI changes this dynamic. When answers are abundant, questions become priceless. Imagine an AI tutor for every child. A tutor that knows their learning style, their pace, their interests. Education becomes hyper-personalized. We move from one-size-fits-all to one-size-fits-one. No student is left behind because the system adapts to them. And this brings us to soft skills. For decades, they were considered secondary. Communication, empathy, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. But difficulty to measure does not mean weakness. In the age of AI, soft skills become hard advantages. Machines can calculate. They cannot care. They can optimize. They cannot empathize. Human value shifts toward what machines cannot replicate. Understanding context, navigating ambiguity, building trust, interpreting emotion. Credentials lose power, capability gains it. Instead of asking, "Where did you study?" society begins to ask, "What can you think through?" The portfolio replaces the resume. Proof of work replaces proof of attendance. Education becomes lifelong. The new education does not train workers. It cultivates humans. Humans who can adapt. Humans who can question. Humans who can integrate technology without losing themselves. AI does not make education obsolete. It makes it urgent. Because when intelligence is everywhere, wisdom becomes rare. And wisdom cannot be automated. It must be cultivated. Join us for the finale, Segment E, where we ask the ultimate question: what is the meaning of life beyond wages? The search for meaning, life beyond wages. For most of human history, meaning was never a question. People were born into roles, traditions, and stories larger than themselves. Life had direction before it had choice. Then came modernity. Choice replaced destiny. Work replaced ritual. Productivity replaced purpose. Meaning became something we were expected to earn. For decades, the promise was simple: work hard, be useful, and meaning will follow. But something quietly broke along the way. Even as productivity increased, fulfillment declined. Even as technology advanced, anxiety grew. This was not a failure of effort. It was a failure of the equation. Because meaning was never meant to be extracted from labor alone. Artificial intelligence didn't create this crisis. It illuminated it. When machines began doing what humans were told gave them value, the question became unavoidable. If I am no longer needed in the way I was before, what am I here for? Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, wrote that humanity's primary drive is not pleasure, as Freud believed, or power, as Adler believed, but meaning. He called it the will to meaning. In the camps, he saw that those who had a why to live for could bear almost any how. But in modern society, we suffer from what Frankl called the existential vacuum, a feeling of emptiness. We tried to fill it with consumption, with status, with busyness, but the void remains. And when work, our primary distraction, is removed, the void expands. This is why the age of AI feels existential. It removes the illusion that usefulness and purpose are the same thing. Machines can be useful. They cannot find meaning. Meaning does not come from output. It comes from relationship, from caring about something beyond survival, from contributing to something beyond the self. Who am I when I am not defined by necessity? This question is uncomfortable. It removes structure. It removes excuses. And it reveals something profound. Meaning was never about what we do. It was about why we do anything at all. When work was necessary for survival, purpose was outsourced to obligation. As AI absorbs more execution, humans are left with interpretation. And interpretation is meaning. We are entering a phase of civilization where the central task is no longer production. It is orientation. Understanding what deserves our time, what deserves our attention, what deserves our care. This is not a soft problem. It is the hardest one humanity has ever faced, because meaning cannot be automated. It cannot be optimized. It cannot be delivered. It must be discovered. And discovery requires stillness. In the absence of constant work, many people feel lost. Not because they are lazy, but because they were never taught how to be. The future will not punish humans for lack of productivity. It will challenge them for lack of purpose. Success shifts from accumulation to contribution, from status to significance, from visibility to depth. Meaning in the post-work world comes from engagement, caring for others, creating beauty, exploring ideas, building community. We may see a new renaissance, a flourishing of art, philosophy, and local community that we haven't seen since ancient Athens. When survival is less dominant, purpose becomes louder. AI offers a chance to remember why we worked in the first place. Not because it gives answers, but because it removes distractions. The greatest risk of the AI age is not unemployment, it is emptiness. A world where humans are entertained, sustained, and optimized, but disconnected from meaning. Avoiding that future requires intention. It requires education that develops inner life, not just skills. Cultures that reward depth, not just speed. The question is not whether AI will change the world. It already has. The question is whether humans will rise to the responsibility it creates. Because the final task of intelligence was never domination of nature. It was understanding ourselves. And in that sense, the age of artificial intelligence may reveal something ancient. That meaning does not come from doing more. It comes from being more conscious, more aware, more intentional, more humane. The search for meaning does not end with answers. It begins with courage. The courage to live without scripts. The courage to choose values over validation. The courage to define life beyond wages. This is not the end of work. It is the end of work as identity. What remains is something older, deeper, and more demanding. To live a life that matters, not because it is productive, but because it is meaningful. This has been The Future of Work. Thank you for watching. Music swells to epic finale.